Welcome, everyone, to another enlightening Ascension Wisdom Conversations. It is brought to you by Galactic Ascension Academy at SheilaTillich.com. Yes, this is the time to awaken and live your soul's mastery. I am a galactic grandmother, Sheila Tillich, and I invite you to relax and enjoy this time together as we discover our Ascension Wisdom Mastery. As souls, we have entered a higher dimensional reality as humans on planet Earth. This is the new energy consciousness. It has awakened our multidimensional spiritual DNA abilities, which are given to us by our galactic ancestors. Join me, dear ones, as we live at our soul's full potential, live in our wisdom mastery in this ascension time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ascension Wisdom. And I am your host, Sheila Tillich, and I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me today. Her name is Candice Davis. Welcome, Candice.
Thank
Yay!
you, Sheila. So happy to be here. This is
I know.
wonderful. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here too. And we actually met here in Rochester a couple months ago when I hosted the Cryon and Syrian Blue White Collective event, and you were there, and it was so wonderful to meet you.
Yes. Yeah, it was like meeting an old friend and just seeing your face.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah, it was
beautiful.
soul family reunion, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, okay, everybody, I'm going to introduce you a little bit. I'll read a little bit of her bio so you get to know Candace a little bit. So, Candice Davis is a soul-emergent walk-in from Andromeda, sorry, here to assist light workers in integrating the new energies that are reshaping our world. As a soul architect, she helps others on their spiritual path turn their presence into the presence, guiding them toward discovering a deeper connection to the Creator, thus themselves. So on here it talks about you being a walk-in 2021. So I'm going to have you share that a little bit more. So Candace is a walk-in in 2021. 21. Okay, Candace, with you being a
Yes.
walk-in, a lot of my audience do not know what that means. Can you share a little bit about your experience as being a walk-in and what does that mean?
Yes. Well, I didn't really fully know what it meant until it happened, but I was at a spiritual retreat that we often, I'm sure your audience goes to. But
Mm.
months prior to that, always feeling like there was someone behind me, that shadow or that cloak or scary person. Just felt like I was being followed, and it was quite unnerving. So I went to this spiritual retreat with spiritual acceleration, Bane Satori, under the premise that I had an attachment. Well, I did, but it wasn't the kind that most
It wasn't a
people think
scary one.
you
It
did.
was a
Was
good one.
not a scary one. But I had to go through all of the fear to allow it to come in. So I was wrapped in a blanket, blindfold on, going through these breathing techniques, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. Big, heavy weight on my chest. And just I really thought I was gonna die. And in an instant, I had came in. And it's hard to really put into physical words, but if you could pretend you were swimming underwater for a long period of time and you're holding your breath, you're holding your breath, you're holding your breath, and like the water is up there and you just can't reach it. And then when you do, you like expand, take in as much air as possible. That's what the feeling was for me. But I was in shock. I screamed, I cried, I was really in a state of shock. And the woman that was there facilitating the removal, or rather the moving over of the natal soul, Candace, to allow the Andromedan aspect to come fully in. And then it took a few months to sort of braid things together. It was, all of a sudden having this housemate that is just now taking over your life. And when I had come into this body, I was new. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how many kids I had. I didn't have to feel the body for the first time. And I was enamored by everything. Like, oh, these are my boobs. these are boobs. This is my
What is
belly. And I'm
that?
like, you know what? The belly is good for laughing. Like I just was laughing. How many kids do I have? Like I was really,
Did
really
you know
mean.
your name? Did you know your name? Did you recognize your name?
Bonnie had said to me, Candice, calm down, Candice, calm down, Candice. And then it just was this wave of bliss when I could sat back into myself up off the floor. And it was pure love, pure bliss. And luckily, one of her friends, William Linville, who is also a walk-in, and he came over for dinner. It was our last evening there at the retreat, and he's like, "Oh, hey," he's like, "I haven't seen your energy in a while," and I was like, "Hi, I'm new here," and because I didn't know how to eat, and we had these jokes, and I didn't know why I was laughing. I was like, "Why is this funny?" And he's just like, "Have you used the bathroom yet?" And I was like, no, I haven't even taken a shower. Like it was just this revelation of life. I was totally, totally different. On cloud nine, walking very blissfully. And then you go outside and you start to realize the gravity of being here on Earth and everything from
Wow.
trees to the car, that rental car I had to figure out how to drive. Um, uh, it was matrix. Everything was matricide and not real to me until it took time. I remember coming home and I was a school principal. So like I had to go to work next
Oh
week.
no.
Yeah, I
What type
did.
of
I had
spiritual
to,
what type of
yeah.
spiritual retreat was it? What was it supposed to
Yeah, to know, it was called like to know thyself. It was a 5-day intensive and spiritual acceleration, Bonnie Satori, great, great people there. And I was looking for that scary thing that was following me around. And it
Oh,
was a
okay.
few months
Okay.
later, I did some work with Sheila. Sheppy, who is another walk-in. She had her own experience, and she sort of helped me integrate and to put the analytical knowledge for my mind to understand the process of what happened. And so now all of a sudden, living from a place of love and heart-centeredness, more integrated. I still have my moments. I still have my moments where that natal soul is like, dang it, move out of the way. Like I have to get stuff done, right? We got to get stuff done. Kids got to go to school. You got to go to work, and then it was such a push and pull, and I'm working on it every day, really melding the two. It's kind of like I have two drivers of this physical vessel in a car, and then angels in the back seat.
Oh
You know,
wow.
the
Wow.
angels in the back seat, and then the dragons, that came in to kind of go on either side of this vessel all the time, and they can get me wrapped up energetically, and I'll have to like peel them off like a cat, like just let
Did
me
you
have
did you
some
have
space.
the dragons before? Were they with you
Um,
before?
I did. I could sense them. Like I got this dragon tattoo done a couple of years, before the walk-in experience because I knew
Oh,
I was always having dreams of little dragon babies and riding dragons. And so knowing now what I do in as a soul architect on the other side, working through my dreams. And COVID before the walk-in was really pivotal in changing the direct trajectory of my timeline. And then working what I do now on this physical plane with as many people as I possibly that'd be willing to to put up with me to do the work. So that's this beautiful hot mess that I am sometimes. So thank you for letting me share my story.
no, I love it. I love to hear how everybody got here. What's your story? Let me share mine, I'll share yours type of thing. And it's like it's so interesting because everybody's different. Everybody's
Mhm.
different. And I kind of knew you had a relationship with the dragons before, but they kind of like told me to ask you it. And then of course, then I seen when you were talking, I seen the tattoos. What is that? This is all tied
I
in with
know,
the
me too.
dragons. Yeah,
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 it's upside down, but yeah, yeah, that's my
yeah.
they're my garden. I work with them. Part of what I do with humans today is picking up soul fragmentations of themselves. And so,
What does that mean? What does that mean for my viewers?
yes, of
Soul
course.
fragmentations.
Yeah. So, sometimes, especially in our lives, we have these traumatic experiences and we'll remember them. So we have these really vivid memories that, sit within our body, and we can do things like somatic therapies or different sort of work to help with the trauma, to
Hmm.
integrate that trauma. And sometimes when the event, and I've had them in my own life, when they're so visceral and traumatic, part of our soul, our psyche sort of shuts them in a little box, and we can leave them, whether we're leaving them maybe in a location of our childhood home where there was abuse, or, on the side of a road if we were in a traumatic car accident, or even I believe in past lives and work with that, in another time and place, throughout all of the galaxy and the universe. And so we need to integrate those. And it's not that they're bad or they're wrong. They're just um it's like glitter. As I think of, like, so when, if you ever throw glitter in the air and you're just like, it's everywhere, you're having a glitter party, and all the glitter aspects of yourself, you vacuum them up, but they're still left behind. And so those all need to get gathered. And so with the dragon work that I do, and just the energy work, it's like, let's gather up and integrate those that are ready to be transformed and brought back to us. So they're like all these little mini family reunions within ourselves, um, that I work on here.
Oh, nice. So you said you are a principal, or you were a principal? Are you still
Yeah,
doing
up
that?
until last June. No, I had to. I got really sick, and I think that was the way of it was. I was like, yeah, that was the way of them to like tell me, like, you need to leave your job. But the kids, my friends, like, what are they gonna think? They're like, no, you need to leave your job. So I did as of, yeah, June, just this June.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I left the medical field in 17.
Yeah.
But I was already doing the holistic stuff. I had my practice on the side. So I just continued my education and got my degree in metaphysics and heart math, and it just continued on my journey. But it doesn't feel like a job. It's a purpose. It's a life passion, purpose. It's just who we are. It's not like it's work. You got to go to work every day. It's like it's totally different. And it was great that your soul knew that it was time just to go.
Yeah, the soul did, the mind did not.
Oh, okay. So what
So,
happened? So,
oh, it's I think being I'm a Virgo, so there's that natal soul that always had to have everything perfect and coming, I know, right? Laugh. Spirit laughs. But my
God
work,
laughs at us. God laughs
yeah,
at us when we tell him what
yeah.
we're going to do. Yeah, right. Okay.
Right. But my work was really important. I was making a great impact working with kids. And I know part of that light aspect, being a teacher, for as long as I was and moving into administration, I felt a real sense of responsibility to help anchor in the light in these kids, especially during COVID. And which again was a big twist for me, that I couldn't see myself really doing anything else. And then so, it was one illness after another illness, just year after year compounding. And I was like, what is this tied to? It's your work. It's your work. You need to shift. You need to shift lanes.
Oh,
So I just eventually the opportunity opened up for another director to come on for the school. And I was like, there's my door. And I had to take it.
that's amazing. That's amazing. I love to hear your story that it's different than mine, and it's very fascinating. And I know my viewers, this is about ascension wisdom. What does it mean by ascension wisdom? We've got a little bit more knowledge than a lot of them do. But it's what I like to share is the frequency. Hey, did you just hear the toilet flush?
I
My
did.
neighbor upstairs. This is real stuff, people.
Yeah.
We just let it happen.
Yeah.
Um, so what was I saying? Oh, I lost my train of thought. Um, and you and I are both more in the higher consciousness. Understand that we're in this realm. Also, you are a unity field healing practitioner, just like me. You were trained by Dr. Ryan. Um, How did you know you wanted to do more training? I mean, what led you to Unity Field Healing? So let's start with that, and then we'll talk about the high consciousness stuff.
Yeah. Uh,
So
for me, I think being in education, when am I not training? When
yeah,
am,
I know everybody.
but I
Yeah, it
want to
is.
do like I want to do more. I want to learn about this. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to do Unity Field Healing in 2019. I think that's when you did your Sheila. But again, COVID happened and I wasn't able to do that. But it was something I have been really called with the aspect of Unity Field Healing and working with the 24th chromosome, and that aspect of DNA. When I was in college, I was actually on the Human Genome Project. So
No.
synthesizing the DNA and had gotten my bachelor's in biology and was working in the lab thinking I was going to be a research scientist. But it fascinates me. And I know that part of the work I do on the other side, um, in like, I call it like a soul architecture division, but working with the mantis beings, and they really came through just recently, probably within the last 6 months, after I had the training, and I was doing a Unity Field Healing session on a woman, and they came to me, and they haven't left since. So every time I am in a UFH session, they will come and sort of channel through the physical nest to help that. And I don't know a lot about them other than that's just how I see them. I haven't researched it or found good knowledge about it, but I know they're there. And so every day is just I love doing Unity Field Healing. I don't know, it's probably changed your life too, Sheila, hasn't it, when you started, just a shift in that healing modality?
Yeah, right. So I had been doing DNA work, more of a healing work, since 2013. So I specialize in integrated energy therapy, which is the 12 spiritual strand. And um, Dr. Ryan, who actually developed Unity Field Healing, and we've talked about that. And he actually did a meditation for next year, by the way. It's really good. It talks about opening up the 12 spiritual strands and then connecting with the 24th. And so I already had a little bit of knowledge about the higher realm and the healing that need to be done, more the quantum connection. A lot of people were into Reiki at the time. I really wasn't interested into Reiki until after I became an IET master. And I took it just so that I could feel like what it was like because everybody was telling me about it. And when I actually had my Reiki attunement, the Reiki grandmaster was the one that attuned me, and she was a shaman, and she had to back up because it was the frequency was different. But what was happening is that I found out that I was doing Reiki since I was a kid. It was already part of me, but I felt more aligned to the galactic, that I knew that it really wasn't my avenue. So when I became a medium in 2010 and 11, I was doing mediumship. Um, I just wasn't comfortable saying, I'm a medium, can I give you a reading? Even though I love doing readings. But there was more, and I has as I had shared before, that I've always been the angel lady. I always connected with angels since I was born. I could see them and hear them, but I was brought up Catholic, and the nuns told me that I couldn't. It was blasphemy. I couldn't talk to the angels or see them. I could have a guardian angel. So I lived in shame. I lived in shame and I hid my abilities for many years. And what happened was in 1985 is when I finally came out of denial about them and really started working a program, spiritual program. But with integrated energy therapy in 2013, I was fascinated with the DNA, fascinated with anything to do with the human body, because nursing and what I was involved with at the hospital. And so when I finally met Dr. Ryan, I wasn't going to go to that event with Dr. Ryan at one of the Cryon events in Ottawa, Canada, because I had been, that year was a big year for me. That was a big year for me. I did a lot of things. A lot of things changed in my life. I was at Mount Shasta for 14 days. I think we shared a little bit about that. And I want to hear about your Shasta, your last, you just was there. But it was powerful. When I look back at now, everything happened the way it was supposed to. And they were gearing me. I was a Lemurian host for the Lemurian Sisterhood for 5 years with on the Cryon team. So I knew about, Lemuria and how our DNA was created by our Pleiadian star mothers. I knew about Lemuria and, how it started and, when it actually sunk and where we went with our consciousness to the other parts of the world. So I already had that knowledge. But when I met Dr. Ryan in August of 19, it was like spirit source had control over all of it. It was
Mm.
all of it. And it was just in a combination of everything of how he was going to use, how they were going to use his teaching for me and where I was going in my life. So I love the synchronicity and the serendipity um, that happens when you surrender, let go, let go and let God, but also know within your soul that you're in the right path. you
Mhm.
know and us as healers and understanding what this ascension wisdom is all about is first experiencing it for ourselves and then sharing it with others what we've gone through, and that's where the connection comes in. It's fascinating how everybody gets there. You as a walk-in and from Andromeda, I know about all the different planets that we descended from. I know a few of them. uh, how did you know it was Andromedian? Did they share with you that it was from Andromedian? You were
Um,
walking from there or what?
y ye- yes. So through that process, I was taken after when I got back from that retreat. I was sleeping and then I had an out of body experience from my sleep. So, being light being, which was my higher aspect of myself, and a few of the team came to
Mhm.
me and they got me up out of my body and took me above the earth. And then I saw the world and through a constellation portal. And I had that strong image of the stars. Like I was making a mental map at the time, but I didn't know. So they didn't actually quite tell me. I had to go do the research, take the image of my map, find that star cluster. I'm like, oh, that's the Andromedan. I can never say it either. And don't ask me to spell it because
Andromedan.
yeah.
Andromedan. Yeah.
Andromeda. Yeah, they laugh. They're laughing. But so I had to research and dig a little deeper and figure that out. But a couple of courses of those dreams where I was astral traveling from my bed, shown the bit about the soul architects. So I got to meet, and I know this sounds pretty weird, but an aspect of myself that's on the other side. And what they showed me is helping souls that are ready to have not just an earth life, but other lives and other planetary systems
Nice.
to orchestrate and architect their life. So I'm sort of like what I had done teaching in this physical realm, being like that guide on the side to help bring in all of the little, they're like puzzle pieces is how I'd see them. And I don't really didn't see colors. I saw them all shades of black, just coming like very, very fast, and how you had to sort of assemble them for that soul to help integrate their next incarnation experience. And so I say I haven't slept in like 4 years. I tell you, because when you're doing the work and you're asleep and then you wake up and you're just like, oh, this body can get so tired.
Yeah.
So but that was one of the major experiences. And it actually started, they showed me that during COVID. So when I was working as a teacher at a school for homeless homeless youth in our downtown urban center here in Phoenix. And the school had lost the funding in January. And so I was laid off in February of 2020, right before everything shut down. So it was a wonderful opportunity because I wouldn't have physically been able to work. Through the nighttime, I was helping those people who had passed from COVID to fully get all that glitter over to the other side. I don't believe souls get stuck, but it's just like that trail of glitter that sometimes you need to kind of come and sweep up behind them so they can be fully integrated. And that's what I was doing, constantly working with large groups, large souls that had transitioned alone. And so through that experience, coming back into work the following fall of 2020 as a teacher, we had a number of students that lost parents. And so I ended up writing a book, a children's book about the whole experience. And because that was just a way to help the students, to help my students understand what went on. And I wasn't able fully understanding what I was doing in my sleep until I had the walk-in experience in 2021 when sort of not everything, but a lot of stuff was revealed to what's also going to be coming up in 2025, 2027. So I don't, there's part of me, Sheila, that's like, I just
I know what we
I just want to
know.
go like work at Target or something.
Yeah, why
Get
don't
the
you just work at
discount
Target? I was
for
like,
the
oh.
holidays, like can I send him back? Can I send it back? But no, I can't. So just who
You wouldn't want to though, right? You wouldn't
would
want to.
want to? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My husband, that's who would probably would want to.
How do they deal with all this? Your kids and your husband. I know you have quite a few
Yeah,
children, right?
yeah, yeah. I've got three at home, still living at home. Um, they ask questions and then I'll give them my truthful answer. And they're just like, huh, okay. So they all have their own belief systems. We didn't raise our kids in a church.
Uh-huh.
And so even though my husband and I met in a very fundamental Christian religion,
Mhm.
we knew we wanted something different for them. So, I've got an atheist kid, I've got a kid that speaks of fairies, I've got, the whole realm of existence here in our little family commode. So they they
Yeah.
they accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. My kids are all different. They think mom's crazy. No, they know I'm not crazy, but it's like over the years they see how happy I am,
Yeah.
and do my passion and to help other people. So they have their own views. My grandchildren are very intuitive. My granddaughter, who just turned 17, she actually tells me about being in the towers when the towers went down, that she was one of the ones that passed then. Interesting,
Yeah,
how
speaking of,
they
yeah,
remember.
towers. Yeah, that just thought of I was pregnant with my first child when that happened. And when I saw that on the news, my first response is, how can I get there? Like, how could I had to go, not knowing why, and not really even being on a spiritual journey at that time. And I did. I ended up going because my grandmother was working for the Red Cross. And so she went as a Red Cross volunteer, and then I got on and I was stayed for about a week. And here I am, like traveling, walking the city. I would just walk the city, 8 months pregnant. Like where you could go, talking to people, helping my grandmother in the soup kitchen, and I know I was doing work from the other side, but it was really my husband was like, "You're what? You want to go to New York City? You're 8 months pregnant." And I was like, "Yes." I'm like, "I have to go. I gotta go with my grandma." So yeah, but he's been around. I mean, 25 years of marriage, so he
That's
understands.
wonderful. That's really wonderful. I love hearing stories like that. I really do. So we had talked a few days ago, and I told you the story how in 2019 that I had fell off my bike. And would you like to share with my audience what you told me about that? That
Yeah,
that night, wasn't it that night? Was it
it
that night?
was. Well, that
Yeah,
day, so when we were talking, and deja vu is really my signal that pay attention, pay attention, there's something here. And so you had mentioned 2019 and
mhm,
the passing of a family member
right.
and falling off your bike. And I know I've had a dream, dreaming us meeting. And I felt that when I met you in Rochester, I'm like, oh, I'm like, this is an important connection. And throughout your description of that year, and I could see, I don't know if your bike was blue, I don't know, but like I could see
Yes,
y-
it is
it was
blue.
it. Okay. But I just, had this image of like a blue bike. And then that night, after our conversation, and I dreamt there was like a canoe involved, and I don't quite remember so much of it anymore, but it was meaningful. I'm like, watch for the metaphors, watch for the metaphors. There's something. And again, coming up with the numbers like 2025, I'm seeing all these dates, February of 27. So I don't yet know what the importance of them. But when I was making the decision to leave my job, I knew I had to be home for the spring of 2025. So maybe you could help fill me in on that as to why. I'm still curious.
Wow.
It was one of those things like I couldn't be working. Like I had to be home in March or so of spring 2025. There was something that I have to do. And when spirit gives you such strong direction, I don't know, Shivy felt this way. And I think, I hope I'm not gonna die. Like I still have work to do. I'm like, please don't let me be like Cyclops and
No.
my my own demise. But yeah, it's there's things brewing in the works, and yeah, the mantis really come in strong when I sit in meditation about those dates and just send love, just sending love. Because I think everything is all light, and like it's not doom or gloom, but when you can just put love out into the future of the universe, that's what they tell me, which is important to do. So
Isn't that what we've been doing? I mean, as light workers, that's really our position, and especially, now that what's happening in the political arena, here in America and what we're going through, it's like, what's going to happen is going to happen. And it's all about the work that we're doing now is sending the light out. And this part of the procession of the equinox, where we're going for humanity and this consciousness energy that's here right now. So it's so important to be the light, to share the light, and to stay in the positivity. That's my main focus is, we can so easily go down the negative role. We can get in our own issues, and we can go back into the drama,
mhm.
and the fear instead of shining our light brightly, which is
Mhm.
exactly what we're supposed to do as light workers,
Yeah.
And when the Star Mothers told me to start this type of series of Ascension Wisdom, they said there's so many out there that are awakened at this time that are sharing the light in a different way.
Mhm.
And let's get together and talk about it. Because what might resonate with you might not resonate with me. The same with the people that are just starting to waken up, especially with the changes that are coming.
Mhm.
We know it. We feel it. Like the galactic connection that I have and the galactic connection you have, we came here to do this. This is what we came here to do. And living in 3D reality and dealing with people's emotions and things
Mhm.
that are coming up that they're not enlightened yet. A lot of them aren't awakened like we are. However, how do we live in the 5D or above and still be useful for the ones that are still not awakened yet? And so
Right.
we're
Yeah.
miracles. We're
Yeah.
miracles, and we also are divine essence. And many of us, when we hear those words, the connection of who we really are and where we come from is so profound. You and I know a little bit more about the Galactic, the Andromedians, and I know about, we know about the Syrians through Unity Field Healing, which is, for those who don't know, Unity Field Healing is a quantum modality that was actually founded by Dr. John Ryan, who also is on the Cryon team with me. He is a medical doctor in Ottawa, Canada. It's actually in Ontario, Canada, and a very divine soul. And through his own development, he has been seen in meditation and visions of understanding the soul connection with each lifetime and how it projects in our life now and where we are in this consciousness field now. So many are starting to awaken or feeling it and don't know really what it's really all about. As a unity field healing practitioners, we can help them align to this frequency. And so the actual Syrians is one of the planets that we ascended from, came to him in 2019 and said that they were responsible for the unity field healing. So much has happened in the last 5 years. It's profound.
Mhm.
But also what has happened all the way from 2012 up until 19, the consciousness grid was reorganizing itself and awakening to be able to hold this consciousness or this new frequency. And so when COVID came, it was like it was time. And we are in such transformative time right now to help humanity. And we as light workers know that's what we're here to do. And it's so cool when I meet different light workers that do it a different way.
Mhm.
But it's all the same. What resonates with me might not resonate with you, but we're all connected in the higher consciousness. What
Mhm.
what is this higher, where are we going with this higher consciousness? And what I've been told is just that it's the higher clearing all the stuff, all the work that we're doing now is to help them be able to be in the higher frequency as we go forward. And
Right.
and it's wild. It's wild. And my experience in Mount Shasta has been profound the two times that I've been there, but you were just there recently, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
was
sure, sure.
recently, but I'd like to go back, if I may, and
Oh,
touch on
yeah,
a few
please.
things you had said. To live in the five-dimensional world or this ascension world and take yourself with you, right? And take who you are with you. One of the aspects that I appreciate about myself and learning more about how integrating this walk-in experience, but also being relatable, is that when you're someone who's highly attuned, or like a highly sensitive person, and you're, walking a 5D walk, but you're working a 3D job, right? Or, have a 3D family, like what
Yeah.
do you do? And so what has come as I'm putting together a book, but I'm teaching a live workshop on surviving sensitivity, holiday edition. So
Oh, good, good,
I don't
good,
know,
good.
because holidays are coming up, and one thing I was told and I have found to be so true is that your family or your coworkers, they're your ascension keepers.
Ah,
Because if you can't love them, how can you love anybody? And so really working with loving your family first, loving that aspect of themselves. My family's pretty much split politically on both sides. So, can you see them beyond the labels that they have put themselves in? And how do you, eat dinner together? So
yeah.
it's a real, what I've been shown is sort of like early on this technique, BOOB, I like to call it the boob method, you know, and because it's so weird, Sheila. When I first came in the body, I don't know why, but like I was really enamored with like the physical body because they don't have this physical structure. And so, when the breath work, observe the observer and breathe again, when the boob method came to me, they just giggle. They're like, oh, here she goes talking about the boobs again. But our family is,
I love it.
yeah, there are ascension keepers. Like, so you have to learn to breathe through the triggers, observe what you're observing, and breathe again. And I love Chiron, Lee Carroll's action, compassionate action. And so, like, I've been able to come out to my family about the walk-in experience, and not all of my family is accepting. I have one cousin that's like, "Ooh, there's the alien," like out loud in front of everybody. And I'm
Make
like,
fun. Yeah.
this is me, makes fun of me, right? But I just surround that all with that beautiful pink energy, of like this bubble, and knowing that only love can exist, if you're working with the angelic realm, only love can exist within those codes of colors. And so no matter what is spewing out of his mouth, or um regarding to any topic, it's all being transmuted instantly within love. And so if we can learn
Mhm.
to have the 3D job, you know, um, but live in it as a 5D individual. And do you remember, Sheila, those bumper stickers way back in the day? Remember the WWJD movement? And
Oh
then
yeah.
like there was the not NOTW, like not of this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how everybody needs to live, just not of this
Yeah.
world, um, but to be in the world and to love those that get under your skin, right? And they're doing that because it's part of our Plutonian, like understanding the transmuting of the energy, like what we still need to heal, what glitter is still out there. And sometimes, even like my mom can be a trigger source for me sometimes. And not so much anymore because I've done my own inner work. But when those moments do come to pass, and I think of the glitter, and I can just surround her with glitter, and I'm like, just give me all the glitter back to me,
So
like,
the glitter
and
is your love? Is the love? Is the love
yeah,
frequency? Oh, cool. I like
it's
that.
a love frequency, but it's also those little aspects of yourself that are in pain. You know,
Oh,
if
nice.
someone can trigger you feelings of being less than perfect and less than beautiful, that's like the glitter, shiny glitter piece that's gold to you. Those are your pearls. You don't give to swine, so to speak. So you
Uh-huh.
you ask for those back. And when I work with someone and do the healing work, the dragons are really wonderful to come in, and they will like scoop up in their wings and go out and
Oh,
chase
cool.
all of those aspects down. So really, that is our work, everybody's work. How do you live a 5D life in a 3D world? So that's not always easy, but it's beautiful work.
I love it. I love it. I love hearing about that. With everybody, they do it their own way, which is great. So tell my audience about this holiday course you had. Is it a course or is it what is it?
Yeah, it's through the New Earth One Network. They're all over YouTube. I am doing a master class on surviving sensitivity. So before I was on a spiritual journey, I was a very highly sensitive person, an HSP. There's a lot of psychology and science around being in highly sensitive person and what sort of personality that is. But I was, also highly attuned. I was seeing angels and passed on loved ones since I was a little girl as well. And
Mm-hmm.
so environments like um, big rooms with lots of people, parties, Costco, any of those things, places that I still sometimes can't go
Walmart,
to
Wally World.
Costco. Oh yeah, try to avoid that. But
Yeah.
if you get overwhelmed in those places, lights and sounds, maybe you're highly attuned to others' emotions.
Hmm.
So, you have this real sense of empathy for seeing someone struggling, or a dog in the middle of the road, lost dog. Like, it
Hmm.
just can break your heart. And so to learn through my own experience and with the guides that I have, how to help someone that's a highly sensitive person not let so much energy go out, not spill their glitter on the way, and really to understand their own energetic physical boundaries as well as the other person. So we'll learn. That's actually coming up here in early November. And
Okay.
I can send you, Sheila, all the details. It's
Yep.
next week, actually. Um, but it'll be recorded. And so you can buy the recording webinar, and I have an ebook that's going to go with it. And then because I'm a
Nice.
teacher, I have a workbook, a reflection journal, to help you through the
Nice.
process. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because they just tell me you really have to learn that your family is your ascension keepers. Your coworkers are your ascension keepers, and you have to work through them into loving them, um, to really integrate the love that is coming here on this earth.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I will put that in the actual description, and how they can get a hold of that course if they want to take it, which is wonderful. Which is wonderful. Okay. Let me
Sheila, I
see.
think we got to talk later about a course on dragons.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people that are wakening up to the dragons, that they've really become alive with it. I really wasn't a dragon person, but I know of the power behind them.
Hmm.
I feel their power. Mine was more the galactic. There were some people that really connected with dragons in Lemuria, which I didn't, but some of them did. Do you know anything about that?
So
Have
the
you-
dragons in Lemuria, can the stories are really a metaphor that the dragons are the star mothers. And so
Yes.
with when I have two dragons, I actually have a mother-daughter Lemurian pair, mother-daughter pair. But they're, I some people see them. I don't really see them other than in my dreams, and they're different, but I understand them as Lemurian star mothers.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Nice. Yeah. My role in Lemuria was part of the birthing pool. So that was what I did. And my consciousness actually went into Mount Shasta, as a ascending, as a high priestess Sophia. And a lot of people think, the Sophia code or whatever.
Yes.
Sophia code is about the power of women that we have, of the divine feminine, and the power that we have. And when I was in Lemuria, I was first generation, which I knew all this. But when I really got involved and started seeing it, when we would do circles or we would meet, it would come into my vision exactly. And then when we actually had the book come out, the wisdom of ancient women that Monica Morani wrote with Amber Wolf with a few chapters, it all came into play. My role as Princess Sophia, first generation, and I was one of the ones that helped when it started to sink. I actually was there to help guide the men with the stars, where to go, and I actually ended up in the North Americans. I ended up by Mount Shasta. So when I went in 2019, about an hour and a half before I got there, over in the plane, over like Utah, my whole body started shaking, and I knew I was home. I knew I was home. And that's when a lot of the transformations happened with me, which I knew, and everything lined up that was supposed to. And that was in June. That was in June of 19. And it wasn't until I met Dr. Ryan was in August, So a lot of things happened, but it was all part of, where we are now and not understanding what's going to come. But we know it's going to be good. We know it's going to be good, right? That's
Yeah.
the whole point. It's going to be good. So, okay. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with my audience? This is
Um,
your time. This is your time.
right. Well, I was hoping maybe we could do a little meditation.
Oh, that would be good. Go for
Yeah.
it. That
Is that
would
all right
be
if I can
awesome.
lead a little meditation? All
Oh,
right.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let us now just sink into where we are sitting or laying down, hearing this, knowing that there is nothing to do. We're going to be breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth, allowing that sacred breath of life to come in all the way down into your sit bones, into that root of the chakra, and then exhaling all the way out through your mouth, connecting down into the earth star chakra, which is about right between your knees, allowing that energy center to expand down into the heart of Gaia, encircling that energy up all the way through your central spinal column, in through the top of the head to the soul star chakra at above the crown, connecting into the heart space of the Creator. You have the three hearts, the heart in the central universe of the Creator, down into your own heart center that is within your physical vessel of your body, and then down into the deep heart of Gaia, beyond her changing surface, into the heart of the consciousness that is this beautiful being of which we live on. And with these three hearts that are unified, you're going to release all of your worry and your stress that is within your body now. With every exhale, releasing more, releasing more, and releasing more. Letting go. Those three hearts are creating an infinity symbol, allowing that energy of infinity to circulate throughout the three hearts, regenerating the energy that is around you, regenerating the energy that is through you, and releasing, relaxing. There's nothing to do, allowing any guides that come to your mind, personal for you, to work with you, to untie those knots, balancing and harmonizing the energies within the blood, within the water crystals that are circulating throughout your cellular organism. Just let them attend to you. They do this because they are you, because they love you. They love the physical vessel. They see your soul integrating throughout all of those three hearts, above, within, and below. Knowing what has taken place for you in this time and space is one of love and is not reversible, in the essence that love can never be undone. And you are allowed to move forward in your journey of perfection, giving thanks, having gratitude. They do have gratitude for you showing up for yourself right now, coming back as they bless your life, Taking a big deep breath down. Knowing that all is well and perfect within your soul, and your experience on this planet is always as it should be. You are loved, you are safe, you are perceived as beautiful, and already whole, healthy, and complete as a unique facet of creator that you are, here witnessing all of this transpiring, knowing that you are in the perfect place at the perfect time, and you are ready to say yes and to love. We give thanks for all of this. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Sheila.
That was beautiful, Candice. Just
Thank
beautiful,
you.
beautiful.
Yeah, I am do personalized meditations like that with someone can get on my website and let me know a little bit about what their intention is. And I kind of go into channel a little bit and work with them and send them about a half an hour meditation for 20
It's
bucks.
wonderful.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. It's fun. I
that's
love it. I love doing that. Just I feel like that's, I'm blessed to be able um to do that.
absolutely. So, well, that was wonderful. And I just really enjoyed the time with you, being able to share with my audience your ascension wisdom and bringing the light into
Yeah.
the world. Yeah,
Into the world. At
into the
Target and
world.
Target everywhere.
Exactly. Can you share with your with my audience your email or your website
Yeah.
address? Yeah,
Yes.
please do.
It
Please
is
do.
yeah, it is risingfromwithin.me.
All
And that
right.
really speaks to all of us because rising from within is what we have. And I know there'll be a day when we won't need channels. I mean, channeling will be like old news because everything
Exactly.
you have is within you. And so risingfromwithin.me. And if I could put a little book plug, I was going to show you when I talk
Sure.
about the book I wrote. Oops.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Insect Heaven. Um,
Ah,
it's a little children's story. You can find it on Amazon.
oh, how
Um,
cute.
little, yeah, I just, again, working with kids. It's to help anybody that's lost someone to know that they don't actually go away. They're there within in all of us. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. So,
thanks for that.
okay. Thank you, dear sister. I
Yeah.
am thoroughly so blessed to have you in my life.
I'm so glad we found each other again. Yay.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And I will put all of Candace's information in the actual description down below.
Okay.
Everyone, please stand in the light. Remember, you walk, you are divine, you are magnificent, and stay out of the fear. You don't have to go to the fear at all. We
Yeah,
are the light.
we
All right.
are.
All right. And so it is. So it is, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Okay.
Are you ready to ascend to new heights of consciousness? Are you ready to live your Ascension Wisdom mastery? Dive into the Galactic Ascension Academy, where cosmic wisdom meets spiritual evolution. Unlock premium courses with like-minded seekers. Join a community of awakened souls and experience monthly group healing sessions. Elevate your journey with Star Mother's activations, teachings, and meditations. Join the Galactic Ascension Academy today and awaken the Stardust DNA within you. The cosmic journey starts now.